We all got the same 24. What you gonna do with yours?
What's good, y'all? Welcome to the GinTV podcast. As always, your boy EAZY.
Hey, A1DasauceGod.
And today we have a very, very special guest in the building. Today we got the man that actually helped us, or not helped us, did the beat, made our beats. We got Ro Beats in here. What's up with you, bro?
Ro bless,
Ro bless, my bad. I got the beats in my head. Because he make the best beats.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm cool with it, bro. I'm cool with it. How we doing?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, bro. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming, bro.
Of course, man.
Y'all didn't see it, but my man's is a so yeah, I thought you were just a beat maker. So it turns out like you were a man of many hats. You make beats, you rap yourself,
you sing,
you even sing.
Yeah, man.
So yo, when did you first get into like music?
I was really young, man. I'm 30 now, so I started as a rapper and like writing rhymes and stuff when I was 14, and that ultimately spiraled into, okay, well, I want to start making my own beats so I don't have to keep ripping these. Back in the day, it was Limewire. I don't know.
Yeah,
I remember Limewire.
Yeah, so that was the YouTube beats back in the day. So I was like, I want to start making my own beats. So I started making beats when I was 16 and started using Pro Tools. And that's kind of when I got into recording and all that stuff. So it was about 15, 16 years ago, which is crazy to say now, but
I had a little segment of making beats too. I definitely used the torrent to download Fruity Loops.
Hey, but yeah, of course, we all had a cracked version of something at some
yeah.
point, right? GarageBand at the very least.
I wonder where things. I always say that. I wonder where things would have been if I had kept that going. But different paths.
That's it, bro.
Yeah, especially I remember LimeWire used to fuck my computer up. All the viruses that came with the shit.
Yeah, bro. I think all of our computers got a virus at some point,
bro,
and then.
You get the random Bill Clinton that comes through. I did
not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes. What did he? How did he start that off though? It was definitely like, and he said something, and then it was like, I did not have sexual relations. I was like, what is going on here, bro?
And every time you're like, fuck,
they got me.
They got me.
Instantly delete that shit.
and then LimeWire actually ended up completely like shutting down, and I don't know if you guys knew about FrostWire. Then came out.
Yeah, FrostWire. I remember that.
FrostWire, yeah.
I didn't know LimeWire actually got like
it got completely shut
down, and then like they basically made a knockoff LimeWire and called it FrostWire. It was like the same thing,
same exact thing, just changed the logo,
different color and shit. Yeah, it was the same thing though.
Did that get shut down too, or just never?
Yeah, I think it eventually got shut down. Honestly, I don't know. I'm sure like if we could Google LimeWire, like it might still be around, or FrostWire.
There's something.
Yo, because I feel like that was really the only way to get music back then. Like I didn't know of any other way. Like
but then like you started doing like MP3 downloads and started doing it like towards there.
Yeah, I mean you could really find for the most part all the types of music, and then for me it was like just searching up those instrumentals or just looking up like hip hop instrumentals, and there were just mad random ones. I remember always using this one that was like a Swiss Beats beat. And it was like a Jurassic Park sample or something.
Okay.
And it was fire. And I probably made a song to that beat like 10 times. Yeah, because there wasn't many other options, unless it was like an industry beat,
So you got into this when you were 14, started making beats at 16.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your parents thinking at this point? Like,
well, you know what? It's funny because my brother also makes music too, my younger brother. So we kind of were doing it together. And I'm sure my parents were probably just like, oh, it's a phase,
they'll get over it.
Yeah, just let them kind of work it through. And we just kept going, man. We started off like we had that old PS2 game Rockman where it comes with the drums and shit. Yeah, and the microphone, and we used that microphone with like a shitty pop filter. And like was recording through Audacity to try and make our songs, just so we could,
so we get innovative as fuck.
Yeah, you're the second person that has used PlayStation has been paving the way for a lot of like artists lately.
Yeah, man. I mean,
back in the day.
Yeah, we just wanted to hear what we sounded like, because it's different when you're like rapping in the car or something, as opposed to like rapping into a mic and like listening back to it, Yeah. And it was terrible. It was absolutely shitty quality, but it was just fun, and I think having my brother, and I have a lot of brothers and sisters, but my younger brother in particular, just having him kind of working with me almost kind of gave me a little more encouragement that like, all right, I'm not in this alone, at least right now.
Is he still in it?
He still makes music. He's not like super deep into it right now. Okay. He's got his own thing going on, but he's the love is still there. The passion's still there. Every time because he lives in Florida now. So every time he comes back, we always just hop in the studio, make a song. Okay. I just dropped a song last month that we did around Christmas.
Y'all did it together?
Yeah, me and him. Yeah. And he's more of like a singer. He's nice with the vocals and shit. So he actually kind of inspired me to start singing as well. And I didn't really start singing on my songs until like maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was just more like bars, and then I started dabbling with auto-tune a little bit, kind of finding my voice, and then, you know, that's what kind of drove me into making more singing style songs.
I mean, having a brother that's like in the same lane as you growing up could definitely create like some friendly competition too to help you get better also,
yeah,
you know? Like
definitely. And yo, he was nice. I mean, he still is, you know, and he was at that point of our lives, he was even more popular in high school than I was. Like even
though he's the younger brother.
Yeah, man. He had the B-boy dancing shit going on too.
Was it
like
Jabberwocky?
Yeah, something like that, bro. He'd be doing handstands like with one hand and shit. Crazy, yeah. And he was doing shows in New York. We went to a show once where he like randomly opened up for Papoose one time.
Really?
And like won a dance battle on stage and shit.
He opened up as a dancer or as a rapper?
As a singer and a rapper, and he just did a dance battle that happened that same night. Yeah, bro, it was crazy. Middle of New York.
How did the crowd react? I mean, because I know, like, you know, typically, especially like 15 years ago, right? Like,
yeah,
there wasn't too many white people rapping, right? Like, it was pretty much like Eminem.
Remember, he's a singer though, so he wasn't really rapping. Definitely not rapping. So let me rephrase. He definitely wasn't rapping. I like recorded all his songs at that point, like out of our bedroom and shit. But it was mostly singing. So he was more on like the Chris Brown, like Usher type vibe. Yeah, well, he was making originals, but it was that type of vibe of like the R&B Usher type. He was very inspired by Usher and Chris Brown.
Okay.
So that's why he got into the dancing and all that shit.
Word.
And bro, the crowd went crazy, bro. He won the whole battle. Like it was like a dance battle where he was on stage battling somebody and shit.
New York has a lot of harsh critics.
Yeah.
Was that in New York, you said?
Yeah, it was in New York.
Yeah, that's like...
Yeah, bro. I mean, I was a little scared for him, to be honest, because I wasn't performing or nothing. I just went for like to support. It was like me, my mom, and him. And bro, he went nuts.
How did he ended up getting on the show though?
He met this dude through Twitter, I think. That was like some sort of a promoter or something like that. And yeah, I honestly don't really know the entire story of how he got that show, but I know it was through some guy that was like some sort of an agent with something. And he just got him plugged in somehow.
Really? And then he goes on stage and kills it.
Yeah, bro. And he just went nuts.
Have you done like shows like that on stages or?
Yeah. I actually, the last time I did a show was right before COVID, and then I haven't done one since just because I don't know. I really don't have the answer. But we did a show at Toad's place.
Okay.
In the upstairs part, you know, the Lily's Pad. You ever been up there?
Yeah.
So I did about 2 or 3 shows there, where I just had like maybe 4 or 5 artists open up, and then I performed last. Yeah. And the last one we did was dope. I think we sold out the show, and then I was gonna do another one, and then COVID happened.
Right.
So it kind of fucked up the flow and the momentum I had going with the shows, which I'm hoping I could get one together this year. But yeah, no, I love performing. I definitely love performing.
When was your first time performing? Like
my first time performing was back in high school, actually.
Okay.
We did a talent show, me and my brother.
Oh,
it was so bad, bro. It was so
really?
bad. Yeah, because it's like...
Was it original work? Or
it was original, yeah. It was original work. So it was like... And it's funny because I still have the album to this day, like the first album I ever dropped. It was like 18 songs, all my beats, and it was trash, bro. But my sister loves it. My sister's like, this is still your best album to date. And I'm like, stop playing with me. Like, I know you haven't listened to my new shit.
No, if you
saying that, like you really don't listen to my new stuff.
That's a good sibling though. That's a good sibling. She's riding out.
Yeah, I think for her it's more or less because like she's mad younger than all of us. She's only 18 now. So I was 12 when she was born. So like, you know, I'm 16, 17. That makes her what, 5 years old maybe?
Just about.
So I think it was more of just like that time of experience for her where she like was like, oh my God, my brother's a rapper.
It's pretty much like nostalgia for her anytime she listens to it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why she's like, that's your best one, not realizing like, all right, it's just because of the memory you have of while you were listening to it.
I think you guys didn't win the competition then.
Nah, definitely not.
I mean, I was that
some residual clouts though.
I was that first day back in school after the talent show. Like,
it was cool. It was definitely cool. You know, it's one of those things where like, when you're first starting to do something, at least in my opinion, like I always think like unless you have like such a natural gift, most of the time you're going to be like pretty bad at it when you first start doing it, you know?
Yeah.
I think I just had to get past the knowing that it's not the greatest, but I still feel like I'm the greatest. So like it took for that mentality for me to even hop on that stage and be like, I'm the best, you know, I'm the greatest. Like this is going to be good no matter what. And it was cool. You know, the people in the school respected it. Like people were fucking with it, you know?
Okay.
And it's like, it's funny because I just know thinking now, I'm like, it's like cringy. Just thinking about
looking
it.
back
you
at it, you're hoping that everybody forgot about that,
Yeah,
that
bro.
moment, you know?
I did a talent show too when I was in high school.
Really?
Yeah,
How'd it
bro.
go?
It was all right. I was pop locking.
Okay.
It was like me in a group pop locking.
Really?
It was like 4 other people. Let's like.
Yeah, that was the times, bro. Everyone was trying to dance and shit, you know?
That was not in the talent show.
It was decent. Like, you know,
Yeah,
but
bro.
when you're up there, like in front of your whole fucking school though,
Yeah.
like the nerve, like I don't think I've ever felt that nervous in my life, bro. I have a kid and I wasn't that nervous.
I know.
Like
you start to get in your head a little bit, and I think for me, as time went on, I got more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But I still get to the point where it's like when I'm on stage, I like black out, you know?
Okay.
I just like it just happens, and the next thing I know, I'm off the stage, and I'm like, shit, like I just did that. It didn't even feel like I did anything, but it's just like a blackout moment, you know?
Yeah.
Because you're just in the moment, and all the adrenaline just kind of like carries you through it.
fight or flight kind of just kicks in.
Bro,
Yeah,
I
bro.
don't think I'll be able to do it. Like I couldn't do it. I hate being in the spotlight. Like
Yeah, and you know it's funny you say that because like the older I get, I think the less I'm starting to like it.
Okay.
You know, like the older I get, it's more for me now. It's like I'll do a show, but it's not like I feel like I have to or I'm so in love with doing it anymore. I think it's just fun at that point for me. But I'm kind of at the point in my career where like I'm really just trying to build and like produce for like bigger people and just really anyone in my network and like trying to expand that way rather than everything being so much about me, you know? Because I make my own music and that's never going to stop. But it's like I don't want that to be the only thing in the forefront of like this is all about me, you know? And that's why I like making beats because now it's like I'm not only making beats for myself, but now it's even more validation that my beats must be pretty good if other people are using them now. You know?
So, you know, you started this in high school. You know, you're making music, you're making beats. After you graduate high school, where are you at now? Like, are you going to college, or is like are you kind of pursuing like your music career full time?
So I did go to college. I went to Southern.
Okay.
But I
I had some fun times there.
Yeah, I did too while I was there, but I didn't even make it through a semester, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I went and
You did a little drive by.
yeah, I went. I did my thing for a little bit. But you know, I think the second I started realizing like I was skipping class to go to my homie's dorm room to smoke and rap and freestyle, I was like, this is not for me, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I'm kind of happy at that young of an age. I consciously decided that like I don't want to waste my time here. And I ended up just wanting to make money.
How did your parents take that when you just?
My dad didn't love it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think my mom did either, but you know, they because my dad always grew up like doing hard labor. Like he was a mason, you know, so doing stonework and even stuff like tiles and stuff.
That's a manly man.
Yeah, bro. And I did it with him. And my dad was always the guy of like, you know, I want my sons to, you know, be in a shirt and tie and like go to work type vibe, you know. So he wanted to go to college.
Your dad an immigrant?
No, he's not actually. No.
Like the
Yeah, it
immigrant
is. It
mentality,
is.
like-
It is the immigrant mentality. But nah, he just wanted that, I guess, for his kids. So he was a little disappointed that I, you know, was dropping out, and I still didn't have a plan at that point. I just knew I didn't want to be in college. I was working minimum wage job.
Right.
But I knew I just wanted to make money so that way I could support my ultimate goal, which was just to continue to make music. So then I ended up landing at this full-time job, knocking on doors for a living, like selling windows and roofing and siding. And I did really well there for like 5 years, stacked up some money and just bought some new equipment and stuff
But
like
through
that.
these 5 years, are you still like, you know, in the music industry?
Yeah,
like, per se?
there was a period when I was working at that job where I was so bought into the job because of the bread I was making that I was like, fuck the music, you know? But I think as an artist, that shit is always inside of you. And it just kind of came back to me where I was like, all right, I can't like stop. So there was probably like a period of like maybe a year or two where like I would dabble in it, but I wasn't really focused on it. I was just focused on like trying to be the best at my job. You know? And then once, go ahead.
So that must have been hard to walk away. Like, cause at this point I'm assuming you're like 21, 20?
Yeah. So I started there when I was 20.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I worked there for about 4 years. And then I quit actually to try and pursue music again full time failed. Like it was like 7 months. I spent my whole bank account.
Really?
I was going out.
The money that you bank from that
job. I was going out, blew it, bro. 7 months. It was gone. And I had a studio at that point in my basement at my parents' house.
Okay.
So I was like doing little sessions. I was charging like 15, 20 an hour just for some people coming through, but I wasn't really getting business like that.
All right.
Blew through that money. So I had to go back to that job. I went back to that job. It was like a dignity thing.
Right.
And then I was like, and
you
again,
have to swallow your pride for that shit, right?
Yeah, bro. And it was the same thing. I went into that mentality of like, all right, fuck the music. Like it didn't work out. I almost gave up a little bit, but then I realized like as I was working there, I was like, this is not what I want to do. Like I'm still going to pursue this shit. And I'm happy I just kept going with it. Really.
How long did you stay at that job for?
I was there for about another, I want to say year and a half, because I think I put about a good 5.5 years at that job in total.
All right, so just for a time reference here, right? So right now you're 30.
Yeah.
So at this point you're 26, right?
Just about, yeah. It might maybe 20, 25, 26, yep.
All right, so you went back to the job. You realized this isn't it, right? So now you want to go back into music, right? Like,
yeah.
So how are you like making a shift at this time around? Because like, all right, how am I gonna do this but not fail this time?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I failed again.
Oh,
I did. I failed again. I quit that job, and at that point, it was like I went on unemployment for like 6 months. I was trying to do the music again, and I had this mentality of like, I'm gonna make this amount of money, or I'm gonna blow up by this time,
Right.
and I kept shooting myself in the foot because it doesn't work like that. You're not gonna just be like, all right, in 6 months, I'm going to be here, so I'll be successful. So once I dropped that mentality, you know what I mean? It all worked out, but I failed again. So then I had to get another job. After the unemployment, it's only like 6 months. That stuff runs out, So then I went and worked for another sales job, and I was doing telemarketing and calling and selling over the phone. And I did that for about a year, and I was still fully invested in music at that point. I knew going back to this new job, I was still going to work on music. I was recording at a studio in Queens, doing a couple songs over there. I ended up dropping an album or an EP. It was like 5 songs. And then I started recording in Brantford at Soundloft. I don't know if you guys heard of Soundloft.
No.
And then I started working with the engineer there, and he offered me to rent out some studio space. And at the time I was like, nah, like I don't want to record other people anymore. I just want to do my own thing. But then I sat and thought about it, and I was like, maybe this is my way back in to quit this fucking job.
Yeah.
And it ended up working out, and it's been about 5 years I've been doing it. So
I mean, so when you're saying that you're failing, what does failing look like for you?
empty bank account,
Really?
not being able to like market my music.
Okay.
That's just the way I look at it, because all the money I make, not all, I don't want to say all, but most of the money I make, I'm putting right back into the music, whether it's like through music videos, whether it's through new equipment, whether it's through anything like certain ads. If I want to run an ad, I try to just put a big portion of the money back into the music.
Sure.
So ultimately, you're getting more eyes. That's what it is. Like,
marketing,
yeah, whether you're doing a podcast, whether you're running a studio, whether you're an artist, really what we want is the views, right? We want people to like watch what we're doing. That's ultimately what we're doing it for. So that way we can make more money ultimately, and more opportunity will come your way,
I mean, so what was the filling points? Like, was it just not enough people, coming to the studio, booking studio time, or?
The first time, yeah, when I tried to go all in, like the first time I quit, it was definitely that, but I was also fucking around. You know, I was young. I was like 20, I think 24 at the time that I first quit. And I was like, I want to go out. I want to party, do all this,
Get bitches.
Exactly. At that point, yeah.
Trying to drink IPAs and get bitches, man.
Yeah. And at that point, oddly enough, it's when I quit that job, I also broke up with my ex. So it was like, that was kind of a pivotal moment in my life of like, I'm just going to go out and just do my thing. I'm going to travel. I went to Colorado and like random shit. So I spent that money like that, not realizing that it's like, it's going to go and what am I going to do after that?
If you don't mind me asking, how much did you blow in the 7 months? How much did you say?
It wasn't that much. It was like 25 grand. But 25 grand in 7 months.
It wasn't that much.
I mean,
25,000 is 7.
Let's put this in perspective too. This is 25 grand like 6 years ago. Where 25 grand stretched a lot longer. 25 grand now, like that might give you like 3 months.
25,000 in 7 months.
Ridiculous, bro.
And you were living with your parents still?
I was still living with my parents. I had the only bills I had at that point was my car, my car insurance. I was helping my parents a little bit, but not like enough to where I could be like, I'm paying rent.
Right.
And that's it. It was just stupid, bro.
Even though your dad was like disappointed with your decision at that point, listening. It seems like he was pretty cool with like, letting you stay at the house and not like was on your ass, or was he?
I think once I got that job that was full time, and at that point I was making like 70, 80 grand a year. I was probably making more money than him at the time. So I think, he didn't, there's nothing really he could say as long as I could chip in a little and be like, I'm still living here. Let me help you with the electric bill, or let me help, you know what I mean? Just little shit like that. So he was supportive in the fact that like, I didn't drop out of school to be a bum. Yeah. I still was like, I want to work. Like, I want to make money and still do that. And, I can say my dad definitely instilled that in me because my dad's a hard worker. He, like, never calls out. You know what I mean? It's just shit like that. So, and I feel that way even with music. So now that I can work as hard as I want to work, but doing something I love, it's kind of like the best of both worlds.
I mean, it's really hard to, like, get your parents to see your vision and trying to tell them, like, hey, first things first, like, I don't want to go to college. I went to college and this didn't work out for me.
Yeah.
And trying to get them to understand, like, hey, I want to take this path and this is my dreams that's gonna make me money. And then, like you said, you failed a couple of times. They're probably like, yo, what are you gonna do? like you got to get it together. You know?
Yeah.
Like, come down to reality. Man. I think you're right. It's hard to get your parents to see your vision, especially when it's like an artistic one.
Yeah.
Because that's like hard to explain to anybody. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm not taking the traditional route to make money. Like, I'm doing like being a rapper, being an artist.
That's
saying
what
producer.
it is.
Like, that's not a normal job to people. So they're not really seeing what you're seeing.
There's never guaranteed money. That's what it is, and there's never guaranteed long-term money. Like, where's the 401k? Where's all this retirement? You know what I'm saying? So I think they look at it in that aspect, especially being at a young age, where they're kind of just looking at it as like, you still don't know what's best for you. I'm your parent. I know what's best for you, So I guess I can understand it. But I think that only kind of gave me more of the chip on my shoulder. It's not like I wanted to prove my parents wrong, but I just wanted to prove myself right, and just know that like through all the struggle, like it's going to be worth it. And I'm still at points where I struggle. Like, I'm not saying like I'm making music full time. Like, cause if I didn't have the studio, I wouldn't be able to do this. You know what I'm saying? I'd be able to make my songs, but I'm not making full-time income off my music. You know what I'm saying? Most of the money is coming from recording, mixing, selling beats and shit like that. But like me dropping my songs, I'm not making a full-time income to live off my songs yet, So that's the goal. But
so right now you are a full-time producer, like, beat maker, right?
Yeah.
Now. So like
full-time.
you don't do anything else.
Yeah, nah.
So how long have you been
music.
full-time into the music?
It's been about 5 years now.
So 5 years of like
just full-time studio. Yep.
Into your passion, really. Like, this is like, this is what you wanted to do since you were 14. Like,
yeah.
This is like, kind of like a dream come true, like, situation, right?
Definitely, man.
And what was COVID like for you during the business, in the business world?
I went through it, bro.
Really?
I went through it of like, fuck it. Like, if I don't book sessions, even though I'm scared people are gonna cough on me,
right.
like, I'm not going to be able to do this. So I was doing sessions through COVID, bro. And like people were coming through, booking sessions. And 2021, surprisingly, was like probably the best year in business, I think, for a lot of people, because we all got them stimulus checks.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And a lot of people were just having extra money to blow, which ultimately the studio is more of a luxury spend, I like to say.
You're right.
So people want to luxury spend whatever extra money they got being in a studio if they're an artist, and shit like that.
So how much is it like to rent like the studio? Like, how, like, I guess, like, walk me through.
I mean,
session.
It depends on the session. Oh, you're saying like for somebody to book with me?
Yeah, like, I guess to use your use your studio to make a song or something like that.
Yeah, it depends on the amount of hours. I like the way I scale it is like a 2-hour session is $140, so it's like $70 an hour. But then if you get all the way up to like 5 hours, it's like $55 an hour. So each like additional hour kind of knocks off the price. You know what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of people, I try to lean people into the longer sessions, so this way we could really be able to sit and create and not feel like we're on a time crunch, because 2 hours goes by like that, and we can, although there are people who come in and could bust out 2 songs in an hour and I mix it and everything, not a lot of people who are just starting out can do that, So
like the more like seasoned. rappers or artists?
Yeah,
like?
they come in, they know the deal. They come in, they do their verse, they do their hook, they sit on the couch, let me mix for a good 20, 30 minutes, then they're on to the next song, you know? That's if they come prepared. Some people come and they book 6 hours and work on one song. Everyone has their own process, which I've noticed, you know? There's really no like one of the same type of artist.
Is there a favorite process that you have that they do though? Like what, or is it
that they do?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. Like, what do you prefer? Like, would you prefer them come in, sit on the couch, write one song, or would you rather them come in and make like 4 or 5 songs within like a 5-hour time frame?
I think I'd rather do that because, you know, not that I'd say like it's wrong to come in and sit and write and stuff. But I'm not really doing anything in that process.
Right.
I'm kind of just looping the beat, you know. Sometimes I'll help people write if they ask me to, but most of the time I like to leave the creative process to the artist unless they literally ask me, like, what should I say or how should I say this? But I think the reason I say that I'd rather have it that way is because, you know, and if I'm busting out 4 or 5 songs in 3 hours, the time goes by like that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not that I'm ever really looking at the clock, but when I'm working and I don't even realize 3 hours just went by, you know?
Okay.
And at that point, it's more beneficial for the artist, you know?
Yeah.
They're getting more done, you know, which is what I try to lean people into more anyway. Like I'll tell people straight up, if they book like 5 hours and they're working on one song for 2 or 3, I'm like, yo, like we should probably move on to something else. I want you to at least have other options that you got done today, you know? Because I'm trying to give people the best bang for their buck, you know what I mean?
Yo, that's real honesty, yo. Because I guess if like most people be like, all right, fuck it, man. Like I
can sit here and eat pizza for 5
Leave
hours.
the room.
Like,
yeah,
go ahead, take your time, bro.
Yeah, I just feel bad, and the reason I do is because I'm an artist.
I was just gonna say, I think because you experienced that on the opposite end. You're like, yo, I don't want to get like used or waste of time.
Yeah,
like
I don't want to feel like I'm kind of just in it for the money, you know, because I think that's what ultimately. That, you know, people can read that, number one, when your energy's not right, or, you know, I just feel like I never really was in this for the money. I am in it for the money. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, we all got to make money, but it's not like my main goal when I'm in a session. My main goal is just to like vibe with whoever's I'm working with, give them the best possible experience while they're recording as I can, and just mix the song to sound great. That's my top 3 things to focus on.
Yo, what are like some of your gripes when you're making music? Like whenever an artist come in, like what's some things that really like piss you off or like, get you annoyed?
Like your pet peeves.
I'd say.
I mean, I've seen some on your TikToks.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
go ahead.
a lot of my TikToks are very exaggerated, you know, to make them funny. I don't know, man. I guess there's not really anything other than like if somebody spills something like in the booth and it's, you know what I'm saying, like shit like that. Like that's. Obviously, I don't want my equipment to get fucked up. So it's like if someone can't handle their liquor and they're getting so fucked up where they're fucking
knocking stuff over.
Yeah, that's normal. That's what any business. But
what about if like they come through and bring like all their boys through? Like,
I made a TikTok about that
really?
one actually. Too. Yeah. I don't really mind. You know, I did one like huge session once with this dude, Long Live Mitch. He goes by. He's from like Hartford. And he had Stephen Cannon. I don't know if you guys know who Stephen Cannon is. He's like one of Lil Xan's artists or something like that. But he came through after a show at the Oakdale.
Okay.
Bro, like 30, 40 people deep.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like, bro, there's not enough room for all these people.
How big is your studio?
It's not
like,
big enough for 34.
Room.
It's probably 2 times the size of this room. Okay. So it's really not that big if you think about it in the grand scheme of things. And really, if I'm looking at this room, the control room where I'm actually doing most of the work and where the couch is probably the size of this room. There's really only like another extra room just if there is overflow, which I don't even really use that room.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for the most part, it's about the size of this room. And bro, 30, 40 heads deep is like,
people talking, like so much going on.
I'm a little paranoid because some people are holding their drink over the equipment and shit. You know what I mean?
Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, so it's like I'm trying to do my thing, but I'm also trying to keep like my peripheral, like I'm watching that drink. Like, but you know, I wouldn't say there's really like anything that annoys me. You know what I'm saying? I'm very patient, you know, and like I realize that the studio for most people is just an experience. You know, a lot of people book the studio because they want to come have fun. You know. There are people who come and they're about their business and they're serious and they get their shit done. But a lot of people that are, whether they're new artists or they're just young people, they just want to be in the studio as an experience. You know, they just want to like post on the gram that they're in the booth and shit like that. So, you know, I just try to give them the best experience. That's really what it is, you know?
Okay.
Have you ever had like a weird rap session? Like somebody said something crazy out there, you're like, what? Bro, what are you talking about?
I mean, you know, what's crazy? What's crazy though nowadays? You know, I think it's all been said. You know, what about 21 Savage? Like, you on your period, but can you suck it? Like, you know, I think that's as
that
exaggerated as it gets, though. You know, like what's crazier than that?
I guess, what's crazy? Here's a good question. Like, yo, what do you? Or I mean, obviously you can't do anything, but what are you feeling? Or how often does it happen where like someone's just complete trash? And they're
man.
like, I mean, obviously, like if they're not asking you for your like, you know, a critique from you, like you're not gonna just volunteer. Hey, man, like this ain't.
This ain't the one.
How often does that happen? Where like someone's just like, yo, they're making a song and you're like, geez.
Yeah, it's
like I can't say this.
It's definitely rare, but it has happened, and you know, I try to be honest, man. I don't ever look at somebody and be like, yo, this is trash, but like, I'll just say it needs work. Straight up, like, bro, you know, like, bro, like, you know, like, this needs work, bro. Like, I'm not a magician. There's only so much I could do behind the boards. Like, some people just simply need to work on their cadence. That's what because the words are there. What they're saying is there. Not a lot of people, but some people who aren't the greatest are just people who can't really flow to a beat. That's all. You know what I mean? Like, because the words are there. What they're saying is there, but the way they're articulating it may not be the best, you know, or listenable, I guess you can say. So the best way I say is just like, bro, like this needs work. I'll try to help, but I've never really ran into a situation where it's like, I got to walk out the room, you know, like I haven't had that happen yet, you know, and I think it's just because I'm patient. I'm very patient. So like if somebody is like not the best, I'll get through it. You know, I'll help them through it. That's really all it is.
You know what?
Get them through the song, you know?
I believe you because you guys didn't see, but we just did a freestyle before this and I did absolute terrible.
He was
real like, optimistic about the entire thing.
It's
like,
there, bro. It's there. You know?
Exactly. You didn't hit me with the it needs work. It was like, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, hey, man.
Something, you had words. Words were there.
The cadence was not.
Yeah, that's it. But that's my personal opinion, right? Of what like trash is. It's really just the flow. It's just the flow. That's the best way I could say it. It's really the cadence of how they're saying it. Is if it's off beat or really like not good, like that's what makes somebody not a good artist to me. Is if they can't really like stay on beat and flow to the beat.
As a consumer, I think that's the biggest thing that like attracts me to a rapper. Like I know there's the word gurus out there that listen to every single word and like go through everything with a fine tooth comb. But I think the biggest thing that attracts me is how they flow on the beat.
Me too.
You know?
No, I agree. It's the cadence, and I think that's why a lot of like, you know, the auto-tune rap is very big nowadays because now it's flow and melody.
Okay.
So it's almost like ear candy, even more ear candy now. So it's like, that's why they called it Mumble Rap because it's like it almost doesn't really matter what they're saying because it sounds cool.
But I hate that though.
Yeah,
I hate that
for sure.
Yeah,
but it sounds cool though, right?
It does. It do sound cool, but it's like, damn, I can't even recite the words. Like,
yeah, but it's like, all right. I mean, that's like Future, right? Like almost like a lot of Future's
music. And
it used to frustrate me. I'm not gonna lie to you. Listen to Future's music, bro. I like. I really gotta listen to it.
All right, you're at a club, 2 a.m, drunk. You trying to hear some like Kendrick deep shit or some Future mumble rap, right?
I'm trying to hear stick talk, bro.
There you go. I'm gonna put my thumb in her butt, like that's just, right? Like
that's it.
I'm not trying to hear about like Kendrick's childhood trauma. Like,
that's it. Yeah, man.
True.
No.
Like, there's a place and time for every rap, man. But I feel like, I think we're in a generation where like we're like the turned up generation in a sense, and I feel like that's and the music reflects that, and it's like a lot of people are not trying to like hear that deep ass music that makes you think, you know what I mean? Like,
a lot of times I
think it's needed, but I think right now where everyone's just trying to have a good time, especially like post COVID, we're like, we're just trying to party.
Yeah, everyone's trying to go out. Yeah. I agree. You know, and I think when they say like rap is dead, it's all the old heads saying like nobody's really rapping and saying words anymore, but it's like it's because of that. It's like it's all about the club scene or the party music, or just the banging beats with the cool flows and the melodies, because a lot of the consumers, which are just regular people, that's all they pay attention to, you know? For like the only people who really, in my opinion, the only people who really sit there and analyze the words like you're saying are other artists.
True.
You know? Are really going to sit there and be like, damn, that bar was fire, because they triple entendre that metaphor.
Right.
They're other artists, you know, they're other creative
That's a
people.
good point, yo. Yo, typically the only people like complaining about mumble rappers
Are
is
other
Are
rappers.
other artists, yeah.
Are
that-
old rappers.
Exactly, bro. You know, so it's like, but the average consumer overpopulates artists. So it's
Yeah.
like, that's what, like, the industry knows that. So they'll put out this music that in the artist's eyes is like, I can make something more fire than that. But it's because the consumer feels a certain way when they're listening to it. So if the beat is hitting and they're at the club, it's the most fire song they're hearing in a moment. They don't give a fuck about.
And it's gonna stick with you.
Yeah, they don't want to hear like Heaven's EP by J. Cole, like
Yeah.
you said, you
It's
know,
crazy.
and that's a
Yeah.
fire song. And you know what I'm saying? Like the way he flows and articulates, and that's just one example. But a lot of people aren't listening to that because they're trying to turn up.
It's almost as if like rap has become like the NBA, where like the lyrical rap doesn't really get the same promotion as like
Yeah.
as kind of like the WNBA doesn't get the same promotion as the regular NBA, right? And lyrical rap don't get the same promotion as
Yeah,
like
man.
you know the mumble rap or the World Club Bangers.
Yeah.
And then people complain saying like, well, we need to show more. We need to appreciate lyrical rappers more, but
Yeah, because
nobody really actually like does it. You know,
yeah,
like
it's it's funny though, man, because it's weird in a sense because it's not even like the lyrical rap
yeah,
was really it and still is driven, in my opinion, still off of that boom bap style beats, you know, and a lot of the new beats are all like trap beats,
Yeah.
you know, so they have a different feel, which you could still rap and say some real shit over, but back in the day, it was all that boom bap shit, like that 85 to like 95 BPM tempo
Mhm.
where you can just flow on,
yeah.
you know, and now it's all like higher tempo because it's just,
What do you think the average like BPM is now day on beats like compared to before?
it really depends, man, especially now because a lot of people are making trap beats, you know, trap beats are in my, like, it could be anywhere from like 120 all the way to 180, you know what I'm saying? Or some shit like that. But 180 also equates to 90. So it really just depends on how fast the hi-hats are going. You know what I mean? But the boom bap type era is anywhere in my, you know, from like 80 to like 95 where it's that just,
Slower.
yeah,
more.
slower. And
Yeah.
it's got the, you know what I'm saying? Like those type of drums as opposed to the, you know,
Yeah.
now it's drill. Like all the drill beats have the same hi-hats.
I
It's the
love me a good drill song.
Yeah.
you know, so it's really the cadence of the percussion of the beat that kind of makes it the type of beat that it is, you know?
Yo, do you think it'll change again? Like, what do you think is next?
I think it's always changing.
Okay.
It's hard for me to say what's next, but I think it's always evolving, you know, because where did drill come from? Drill wasn't around a couple years ago, or maybe it was and I just wasn't tuned in, but
It started in Chicago?
Yeah,
Right?
Chicago.
yeah, and it
Well,
started, or even
Chicago or
London
UK,
too.
I thought
Yeah.
Right,
a
UK,
UK
yeah.
drill, yeah.
Yeah, so like it's always changing. I guess it's just whatever pops off is hot in the moment that catches fire and people just run with it, you know? I think it's always evolving. You know, I don't really know what's coming next personally, but I think as long as artists we can still stay true to ourselves but also adapt to the new stuff, that's where you become a true artist.
I think that might be a problem with the older artists too, is that they're not adapting.
They can't.
They're just getting stuck.
They
in their
don't
old
want
ways,
to.
and
That's
you think they just don't want to, or they can't?
I think it's a mixture of both.
Okay.
I think some of them are really just
Rooted in their ways, like stuck in
Yeah.
their ways.
which is fine, you know. I mean, look at someone like Lloyd Banks, for example. You know, he just dropped an album and it's all like old school boom bap
Really, I
types
didn't
of,
even know that.
yeah, and it's fire. I love it because that's just what he does, you know. It's like I don't think I'll ever hear Lloyd Banks rap on a drill beat, you know, like
Right.
you
You know
know.
what was actually surprised me at adapting is you're not a big fan of him as Nas. I feel like he's actually keeping
Yeah,
up with the young
yeah.
rapper, and he's like kind of changed his style. Like even
I did like
You gotta
the
put me out.
couple.
Why you gotta put me out?
you said that in the last episode. You don't fuck with Nas.
Like that was really directed, bro.
Those are your words, man, not mine. All right? Like you said, you don't like Nas. I'm just
I
gonna
feel targeted
like,
here.
all right, stand toe down. Like yo, 10 toes down, man.
I'm standing on it.
All right, then. I'm
I'm
just
standing
saying.
on it.
Which is fine, you know, because I wouldn't consider myself like the biggest Nas fan. I do appreciate the music he's made and even the newer stuff. I've tuned in and listened to it, but I don't know. I call it a weird point in my career because I've been really kind of not as tuned into the industry, you
Okay.
know? I don't really listen to so much of the new music that's coming out, and it's not that I don't like it. It's just I'm at a position where like I'm running a studio, so most of the time when I'm putting something on, it's like some mix that I did for some.
Yeah,
I'm listening to all the people I'm recording, and then I'm listening to my music and trying to listen to the newer people that I want to work with that are in my network. And I've noticed that I've not really tuned in as much to the industry. Like someone would be like, yo, did you hear that new album? I'm like, nah, honestly, I haven't even heard it yet.
Do you think that stifles like your creativity?
I think, I don't know. It could be a mixture of both, but I think it almost helps me too, because I'm not trying to bite off of someone else's sound that might be hot in the moment, you know, like Drake dropping, the Honestly Nevermind, for example. It could have been like, I listened to that for a month and then I'm like, I'm gonna make some house shit, you know? Like, so I think by kind of tuning out so much of the newer stuff almost kind of keeps me a little bit more true to myself and like just making what I feel, you know, rather than trying to, like, I don't make tight beats, you know? Like, I try not to ever like make tight beats. Like if someone's like, yo, can you make me a custom like Young Thug type beat? I'm like, I just don't like the process of doing that. I really like to kind of just sit and just let what comes come. Unless
do you not like it because it doesn't feel original to you?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like organic. You know, it's not that I can't do it, because I can do it. But it just doesn't. It's not as enjoyable as if I like wake up, have a cup of coffee, and I'm like, I'm just gonna make a beat, whatever comes in my mind. And I just feel like that's the most organic it can be for me.
Walk us through your process of making a beat then.
So I just started using Ableton, actually. I was using a Machine, which is like this beat pad for the longest time. But I just started using Ableton. And I guess the process of making beats for me lately has been, you know, either I'm at the studio or I'm at my house, because I have a small setup at my house. And I just open up my laptop. I have a keyboard and I'll flip through some sounds, like melodies and stuff. I like to listen to a lot of different music, like samples and stuff. But lately I've been building the drums before anything. Like I'll start with a drum pattern and then I'll start adding melodies and stuff after that. But it's really hard for me to say that there's one process to everything, you know, because I do it differently every time. I think in order for me to get into my mode of making a beat, you know, I just kind of have to do it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I just have to do it, you know, like because sometimes there's points where I'm like, I don't feel like doing anything, you know, I don't feel like making a beat or making any music.
Do you get like, you know how like writers get writer's block? Do you get like a beats block per se?
They do, yeah. They call it beat block. Yeah,
they do?
Yeah. A lot of people do. I personally, I haven't run into it yet.
Okay.
You know, and I think because if I'm making a beat and it's like really not the greatest beat to me, I'll just move on. I'll just do something else. I'll just start working on another beat. And I think just listening to other samples and like different melodies from other music ultimately kind of ignites the fire of trying to put it down into something else, I guess, you know.
Do those beats that you move on from do you ever pick them back up again, or do they get buried?
Sometimes I do. There was a beat that I made back in like 2012 that it was like a sample or some shit, and I just didn't like the drums, so I moved on from it, and I came back to it in like 2021. This was like 2 years ago, and I just
like 10 years later.
Yeah, I found the sample somewhere, and I just reflipped it, and I added different drums to it, and I ended up putting I made a song to it, and I put it out, and it's like one of my most played songs right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why it's like it's cool to go back to like older stuff, because you'll ultimately kind of find newer, different inspiration just from older stuff that you did. Maybe you just didn't like the drum pattern at that point, or maybe you didn't like the way you chopped that certain sample. So it's just kind of going back in and doing it with a fresh set of ears, you know, and you can make something great.
I think I heard you say you play the piano, or you have the keyboard?
Little bit, yeah. I got a piano. Like I don't really know how to like play chords and scales, but I'm more of a by ear musician. Yeah. So if I have like a melody already going on a beat and I load up a piano sample, I'll figure out what key it's in, and then I'll just kind of scale from there and add stuff. Yeah.
How long does it take you to make a beat? Like, what's the average time? Like a couple hours, minutes?
It depends, you know. So it depends how long I want to take on it, you know, because I could probably make a beat in like 20 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. I could probably make a beat in 20 minutes. You know, it'll be a cookie cutter, regular trap type beat, you know.
Right.
But you know, there's some beats that I spend close to an hour. You know, it just depends on what I'm trying to pull from that beat. Because there are beats where I'm like, there's more I can add to this, or there's another counter melody I can add. Sometimes you got to stop though, because you got to leave room for the artist, you know? There's some beats that are too overcomplicated where you're not leaving room for the artist, you know? And that's a lot of artists I've noticed nowadays, like they just like the simple, quick beats with one little melody because it leaves more room for them to do something on it, you know? So I don't like to spend too much time on a beat.
Okay.
I don't, because
so you could actually overcomplicate a beat to the point where like the artist is like
could
really
turn them away because you got a piano going, you got strings over here going,
like
you
a
got
whole orchestra.
Yeah, you got horns in this section going, you know. So, and those beats are fire too. Don't get me wrong. Like if you get the right artist for it, but you know, by sometimes you got to just say, all right, now what's the vocal gonna sound like on it?
Okay.
Because when you're not really thinking of where the vocal's gonna go, that's when you start adding too much stuff, and it'll sound fire, it'll still sound cool, but it's like nobody could rap on it, you know.
Okay.
There's no room.
Do you have a favorite beat that you ever made?
Nah, I don't.
Like nothing.
I've
like,
just
yo,
made
that was
so
like,
many, bro.
That was like my holy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Well, I guess not maybe not necessarily your favorite beat, but a beat that like your best, like your somewhat type favorite beat with like that just went right with this artist, like, and there's like you just, I guess like the best song that you were in the process of making.
That's tough. That's tough, bro. I've made so many beats and so many songs that it's like I kind of have that moment very often where I'm like, this is my best shit I ever made.
And then you top it.
You're constantly like scaling yourself. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that's how it should be though. You know, it's like I always try to feel like my next song is my best song.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, otherwise I'm just trying to chase that best song that I made 3 years ago and trying to recreate that. You know. So it's hard for me to be like, this was my best beat or best song, because I feel like there's a lot of them where I really love for different reasons, you know, because it could have been when I made it, where I made it, who I made it with. Like I be making beats in the car sometimes, just like, and sometimes those are my favorite beats because I'm just in the car and I'm like looking at the mountain, you know what I mean?
Vibing.
Just vibing. Yeah. So I guess it's hard for me to say which one is my favorite, because, you know.
Have you ever had a beat where like you decided to be stingy with it and was like, nah, I can't. No one can have this.
Bro. All the time.
No one can have this. This is for me.
All the time. Yeah.
Really?
And it's funny too, because some
Dibs.
of the, yeah, bro. It's funny because like I'll say that and some of those beats like I never end up using.
Really?
You know, and then I'm like, all right, maybe I should try to get somebody else on this.
You might accidentally like play one for a rapper. You're like, I like that. I like
Yo, that's the one. Yeah, I didn't mean to play that. Bro.
Skip.
I sold that one already. Nah, I definitely at least lately, because I've been like right now I'm actually in the process of making like a big tape. I got like maybe 13 songs done, and it's just all beats that I produced with a bunch of different artists on the tape. So
almost kind of like a DJ Khaled.
Exactly.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. So I got my Robles platform, which is like just all my music and like whoever I feature with and stuff. But I'm trying to release another an album under my MVR Beats, which is like my label, which is my logo and everything, which is a total different platform. And it's just like I'm not hopping on the songs, I'm not rapping or singing.
I mean, you're like really doing like a Khaled Metro.
Yeah, I just strictly want to produce. Yep. Like I've been very tempted to hop on some of these songs because they're fire, and I'm like, I can't do it. Like I gotta.
Yo, I like that, bro. That's like I feel like I'm locally, maybe I'm just not really that tapped into that like environment. But
yeah.
I'm not hearing anybody doing something like that.
That's why I'm excited.
Yo,
man.
where are these artists from? Like they all like kind of.
Most of them are from Connecticut. Yeah.
Okay.
So I got I gotta send a couple beats to Milan because he hit me up about it. I got Kev on one of the songs that I'm still finishing up. I just got a bunch of different artists, bro. There's probably like maybe 8 or 9 right now out of the 13 songs.
I mean, like obviously on a different scale, but someone similar to what we did with our cipher. Like I like that shit, man.
Yeah, and I'm trying to make it like, where it's got the mixtape feel to it, because literally every song is different. Like I have like an R&B pop singer on one of the songs. I got a hardcore rapper on the next song. Like because most of my beat niche is R&B and hip hop. So, and sometimes pop, like I'll make pop beats and shit.
Do you have a date on this?
Yeah, I'm trying to drop it on my birthday, which is May 12th.
Oh, so it's pretty.
Yeah, it's
soon.
coming up. So I really gotta like.
Yo, are you like DJ drama on it? Like, are you like on the background, like saying like, yo,
Nah,
bro, bless this
I might put a skit somewhere in the middle of it.
You gotta put one in there.
Yeah,
bro. Like,
I'm gonna definitely do some sort of a like skit in the middle or the beginning. I'm not too sure yet, but
I love a skit inside of like an album.
I do appreciate those. If they're good,
yeah. So I'm still working on that, but there's just a couple of loose ends and like vocals I'm waiting on from a couple other people. But like I got to get this done and like finalized by like mid-March because I like to upload my shit early, you know, because that way it's already out, getting sent out to Spotify and Apple Music. There's going to be no delays and stuff like that. And I want to give myself time to, all right, it's already uploaded. Now let me focus on promo.
Yeah, I like
How
that.
does
I like that a lot.
like something like that work? I guess like legal wise, because now you're getting like, you know, you have all these other artists involved, right? Like, so if you were to start making money off this project, right? Like, is it completely yours, or like, do they got to get royalties off that? Like,
so I'm splitting it with everybody. Okay. So whoever's on a song, like if there's one person on a song, we're just going 50-50. Like, and obviously, like I should get more percentage at the end of the day because I'm making the beat, I'm mixing it, I'm mastering it, I'm distributing it. But it's
promoting
like it's for me for this tape.
It's all overhead for you, right? Pretty much, like you're covering it all.
Yeah, and for me at this point, it's not really about the money. It's just more about like the networking and like just trying to build some sort of another platform for other artists to be on. You know, that maybe don't have the biggest platform, and I personally feel like they're really talented. So I'm trying to almost, in a sense, use whatever platform I've built, but put it out in a way that's not like I'm behind, like I'm on it. Like this is me, like I'm in the spotlight, you know?
I got you.
If that makes sense, you know? So
how did you pick these artists?
Just from recording, man. Like all the people I've recorded, and a lot of these songs that are going to be on this album are songs that like were just in the vault, never got dropped, like that I produced. And I ended up just going through all my files for the past 5 years I've been in the studio, and I found all these songs, and I'm like, why the fuck haven't these gotten dropped? You know? And so I just came up with this idea. It's like, I'm just going to drop a tape. So I had about 5 or 6 already that were just, I have a lot more than that, but about 5 or 6 that I was like, really, like, these are it. You know, these are fire. And then I just started making new ones geared towards releasing the album. So some of them are literally from 2019. Like, and they're just like fire songs. And I'm like,
is there a feel for the album, or is it just like kind of like,
it's more just going to be like I said, kind of that mixtape feel where it's just going to be like, there's something for everybody, you know? There's not obviously like no country or like EDM and shit like that. It's definitely more hip hop, R&B driven. But like the type of songs, like they're different. Like the one song will play, the next one is going to play. It's just going to be a completely different feel.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. So it's almost, I'm trying to just market it in the aspect of like, whoever listens to it, there is going to be one song on there that you will like, you know?
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
I got something for at least something for you, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I'm going for. And I think like I said, because, you know, I'm trying to do my part with my own thing, with the social media, the content, releasing my own music. I'm approaching 100 songs on all platforms pretty soon. So it's like, I'm already doing everything for myself. And it's like, I'm able to produce beats at a high level. So why not try and give back in a sense? Like I'm having people who record with me come to the stew and like, yo, let's lay this down, like free of charge. Like I'll split the royalties with you. I'm just trying to like do what I can to not, like I was saying earlier, have everything be about roll bless. It's more like I'm trying to push all these people in the same direction that I'm trying to go ultimately.
Are you giving time to focus on yourself though?
For sure. Definitely. I mean, I'm definitely at I'm dropping a new song on Friday, actually. Yeah. So I drop a new song every month. That's a goal I set like about a year and a half ago, because I was trying to drop a song every week thing.
Right.
I got like 9 weeks deep, and I was like, this is too much.
Not sustainable.
Yeah. I was like, I give credit to anybody that does it, but like at the same point in time, I'm running a studio. I'm recording a bunch of other people. I'm mixing mad records all day. Last thing I want to do is go mix my own record, you know. So I kind of scaled back to, all right, I'm going to just focus on dropping one song a month, you know? And right now, because I'm working on this tape and doing all this other stuff, I'm kind of like behind. So, I got this song coming. I got nothing for March. Really? So I got to go in the stew and I got to cook up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just, you know, and I typically try to stick to the same process. it takes me a good maybe 4-5 hours to make a whole song from scratch. So I just get in, I just make a beat. If I'm fucking with the beat, I write on the spot, or I'll go in the booth and try and freestyle some stuff, and I'll just put it all together. I'll come back to the mix and master maybe another day, spend another hour on that, upload it. Could do the artwork, upload it. You know, I try not to sit there and think about my songs too much because, and I say this on my TikTok all the time, I be yelling at people like, drop your music. Why? What good is it doing you in the vault? And people eat that shit up. They love it. Like they're commenting like, big bro, I got you. And it's like, I really believe in that though.
Yo,
because
I remember when we had Milana here, he said like, yo, I got mad music like held hostage.
Yeah, bro.
And,
and that's
his
great.
Boy was like, yo, why? You gotta, like release the shit. Like what? Like it's not doing anybody any
any good in your vault, right?
More importantly, it's not doing him any good. You know, because the way and I've been saying this a lot, the way I like to think about the music being dropped. There's I don't know if you know what DistroKid or TuneCore, all of that stuff is. It's basically the distributing platforms that upload your music to Spotify and Apple Music and all that.
Yeah.
But I use DistroKid, and there's a section on the website called the bank, and it shows you all the money that you're making from streams. So the way I look at it is like, if you're keeping all these songs on your hard drive, how is it going to ever make you money in the long run? Because I look at this as a long term. It's like a stock.
Yeah.
And every single song that I drop into the stock, it's like I'm putting $100 into my stock and just letting it keep grow, you know? And there's going to be that one song that takes off, and I'd rather song number 200 that I put out take off for me, because now they got 199 others to go tap into.
Yo, that's all it takes, yo. Because like when I find out, like when I hear a banger song and I like actually tap in with that artist, now I'm gonna go down this catalog.
Yeah,
right?
bro.
Like so, yo, I may have never heard your first 100 songs, but once I hear that banger that you got, I am gonna check out your other shit. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like it's like a sitting gold mine, bro. Is the way I look at it. You know.
I think I could see where some artists get discouraged when they drop like, you know, maybe 50 songs and they're not popping off like they should, and it's like, all right, man, fuck it, like I'm not gonna really release things until I feel like
I got that one.
Yeah,
right? Like, yo, you might already have that one, but now like you just haven't released it because to you it's not that one, but like you don't know what the consumer's gonna like.
You're exactly right, and it's funny because, like I said, I'm almost at 100 songs out, so I've kind of trialed and errored certain things, but it's always. And I don't want to say always because it's not right. Obviously, I have a good judgment of what song is going to do good and what song may not. But there's been times where I drop a song and I'm like, this shit is the one. Like, this shit's going up. I'm out of here, right? Gets like 30 streams in like 3 weeks. And
why
I'm
is
like,
that the case? Like, every time you think that, like, that's going to be the thing to go to the next one.
Even with
not.
Content, same thing, bro. And it's like,
it's always the bullshit, yo. It's always the shit that you pay no mind to.
Exactly.
Like, blows, yo.
And it's the same thing with the songs, right? So, and it's happened to me where I dropped the song and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to put this one out because I need to get a song out this month. It's good, but like, let me get it out, add it to my catalog. And that shit goes up. And I'm like, I made this song in an hour. Like, you know what I mean? Like
the song you put your blood, sweat, and tears to, probably just like sitting there.
What's
you know?
the most streams you ever got in one of your songs?
That song I Am, the one that I resampled, is at like 30K. So no, it's good. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing to be like, you know. Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
30K.
Yeah, I think when you say it's not nothing crazy, it's because we like I think we tend to compare.
It's the comparison
to, like, the
for sure.
Pros where like, you know, they're getting
billions.
Like,
Bad Bunny money.
Yeah. I mean, it's 30K, but it's not like I'm not streaming like fucking like Jay-Z. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, well, the thing is when I say 30K and I shrug about it is because 30K, 30,000 streams on Spotify equates to like $100.
Okay.
It's not a lot of money. You can't live off that. You got to be getting like over 1 million streams per month to really be like, I'm gonna quit my job and do this, you know, because I think about 1 million streams on Spotify, you know, these aren't like facts, but I believe it's around $3,000 to $4,000 for 1 million streams, $3,000 to $4,000. So it's like, you got to get 4,000.
Yeah, which is like, yo, most people make that in a month. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
That's like, you could actually.
You could live off that, but it's like 1 million streams is a lot of streams.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, you got to be getting on the right playlist that are not like botted up and are fake streams. You got to, it takes a lot. I haven't gotten 1 million streams on a song yet, so I can't really sit here and be like, this is the key to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm still working towards it. And like I said, I'm kind of just at the point personally where I'm simply releasing my music just because it's fun and I love to do it. And now I'm trying to like shift gears a little bit and really produce and focus on the engineering a little bit more, you know?
I mean, it seems like you're like tapped into like every side of this music industry.
Trying,
like,
bro. I'm trying to get into music videos next. I'm trying to shoot videos.
actually shoot the
yeah,
video?
yeah.
Okay.
Like we'll get there one day, but I just been messing around with my iPhone Final Cut Pro. Nothing crazy.
I mean, it seems like it's like the last part of like what you aren't
puzzle,
doing.
yeah.
Like,
You got a one man stop shop. Like everybody just
I'm
go to you. You do the
yeah,
entire
I'm
process
definitely
for them.
excited about this tape, man. Like,
Yeah, me
I
too,
feel
man.
Like that's really good for the Connecticut music scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Especially like we talk about it here all the time. Where like Connecticut's just not seen or like thought of as like a state for like hip hop. And I feel like there's so much potential here. It's sad.
It's sad that it's viewed that way, and it's really the media. It's media driven, And we're right in between New York and Boston, so it's like they look at us as the Joe Rogan says it.
The worst. Oh yeah,
yeah.
the worst.
We're the
state.
highway. We're the highway between New York and Boston, and he's not lying,
Yeah.
But there is a lot of talent here, And I think just by doing a tape like this, it's gonna set me up to do more. This is not gonna be a one and done project, and it's like there's so many more people I want to work with that. I'm on a time frame, so if they don't make the cut, sorry, you on the next tape. Like I got to get this out, like because it's a goal.
Well, that's exactly how me and him are thinking about the cypher shit. Like we did our first one. A lot of things
Keep
went
it
wrong.
going.
We learned. But now it's like now we know. Like now we want our second one. Definitely throw some artists, man. That like I'm saying we'd love to have one.
Yeah,
here
definitely.
And get on the cypher as well.
Nah, I'm sure, and they'd be all for it, man. And that's what it takes, Like even something as simple as just me coming out here and just talking with you guys on this podcast, right? Like I didn't have to do it, but I just did it because it's like I want to network. I want to be able to shake hands. So it's like,
and that's key. I think the biggest thing in trying to like build your brand is networking.
Yeah,
like that's one thing that a lot of people decide to like put on a back burner and say, I don't really got to do that, but it's major when like you network with somebody because like
you met them face to face, you shook their hand, and I learned that is huge from going door to door. It's crazy to say, but like the
you
best
got something from that job.
The best, yeah, man, exactly. The best form of marketing is face to face.
And you don't know who people know, like you might just network with the right person that could put your music into the right hand.
Exactly, bro. And a lot of, COVID, I think, hurt a lot of people because there are still some people that are kind of scared to really get out there.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I think we're seeing the other side of it now. But yeah, that face to face, bro, there's really nothing like looking someone in the eyes and being like, what's up, bro? Like, I'm so-and-so. And, even if it doesn't amount to nothing, it's still like they may talk about you to someone else that ultimately snowballs into something else. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like word of mouth, bro.
It's a lot easier to ignore a DM than a handshake.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
I like that. Yeah, man. I mean, that's why it's like I kind of gave up on the whole like DMing random people and saying, hey, just dropped a new song, check me out. If anything, that pisses people off nowadays, like it sucks.
They put you on a block list.
Yeah, like, or they'll just leave you on scene and it's like unfollowed or some shit, and it's happened to me. And it's like, I get it because, like they don't know you. So it's like,
they don't
why?
owe you anything.
They don't, that, and it's like, they don't know what you're about. So why should they go check you out? Why? Like, you just DM'd me. Like, it really wasn't that hard for you to DM me, Yeah. But that's just how it's the consumer. That's how the consumer thinks because I'm an artist. Lots of times when somebody randomly hits me up, go check out my music, I'm going to do it because I'm an artist and I'm going to try to support if I can. But the average consumer is like, fuck is this guy? Right. Like, and then on top of it, if you ain't got a certain amount of followers or monthly listeners, you ain't popping. They're not going to check you out. It's the
I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty.
Me
of it.
too.
When I see like an artist and then I instantly check like their subscribers or like how many
listeners.
how many listeners they got. I'm definitely guilty of it. It kind of like gives you that validity in their music, Like,
yeah, man. It's the herd mentality is what I say. It's the people don't want to fuck with your music unless somebody else is fucking with it.
Yeah.
Unless they see someone else fucking with it.
Nobody wants to be the first, yo.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be the first comment.
Exactly.
First like.
Exactly, man. And I think a lot of people, that's why it's almost better. And I be saying this a lot too, because it's almost better. Like if I was out in public, and I said, hey man, what's up? I'm real blessed. I make music. Check me out. They're more likely to not listen to me and what I'm saying as if you were to be like, yo, what's up? I know this dope artist. His name is Robles. You should check him out. They're more likely to listen to you because you're recommending.
I'm a reference.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
you know,
because I wouldn't be doing this shit unless like
if I didn't actually think it was good. Yeah, because everyone thinks they're the shit. Everyone's like, yo, I'm dope. Check me out. But there's no like point of reference there for someone to be like, all right, he must be pretty good because this guy is actually recommending him. You know, so. It's a tough game that artists are in because we have to do that. We have to be like, check me out. Here's my new music, and try to just be at the forefront at all points without being annoying to certain people, you know?
I mean, DJ Khaled is not afraid of being annoying, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's also like in a position where like being annoying is not going to hurt him.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
I mean, I think always the outspoken people are going to ultimately rub some people the wrong way. But it don't matter because they're getting eyes on them at the end of the day, you know? It's a win regardless, you know?
True.
So it's hard to say.
I have one question though, like kind of pivoting a bit. So like my family's from Barbados, and so I'm pretty involved with like not involved, but you know, grew up listening to the Caribbean music.
Yeah.
I find like with Caribbean producers, they typically have like, you know, they put out a beat and then they have like, you know, 8 artists on this one beat, and it'd be like the same exact beat, maybe like remixed it just a little bit so that way each artist sounds like a little bit, or each beat sounds like a little bit different for each artist. But I don't really find that in like American music. Why do you think that is?
It's the Caribbean cipher.
Essentially.
I mean, I think a lot of it has to do probably with, and I mean, I could be wrong. It's just my opinion, but it might just be like a royalty thing, you know? Maybe a lot of artists, you know, they just want to be on a song themselves because they collect 100% of it, you know? Think about it. If 8 people are on a song, you got to split the profits between 8 people plus the producer plus the whoever's managing them, whoever to label it. You know, there's probably a lot that goes into it.
But it's almost I think it's a little bit different because they're not putting like 8 people on one song. It's as if like they each have their own song, but it's just the same exact beat. So that way, like, you know, you could have one producer could have like 3-4 hits that's out there with the same exact beat that's that the next one has, you know? And I feel like it creates like some friendly competition too.
Because then it's like whose song is the hottest.
Exactly, whose song's the hottest.
Well, I could see that being like more of a copyright issue in America.
But if you're the owner of it, then like
as the producer, you're saying
if you're if he's the owner of the beat, like what is holding you back from
that?
Doing
Actually, that's where BeatStars comes into play. Ultimately, BeatStars like you. That's like what leasing beats is, you know? So there's a difference between like selling an exclusive beat, which is like, I'm selling this to you and now you own it, right? Like this is your beat. You could do whatever you want with it. But like leasing a beat, you sell for a lower rate, but it's like, I still own the beat. So like you could make your song, but I could also sell it to you and he can make his song, but I still own it. You know what I'm saying? So that's where a lot of like producers are actually making a lot of bread right now because they're posting their beats on YouTube. And then they have a link that goes to their BeatStars.
Okay.
And they're just leasing. Sometimes you could lease the same beat 100 times. And if it's $25, that's $2,500 you made off one beat.
Essentially,
and you still own it.
Right.
You know, until you sell it as an exclusive. So like the beat selling game is definitely like confusing to a lot of people, like a lot of artists, because they don't understand sometimes like what owning the beat and like just using the beat means. So that's where a lot of copyright issues come into place.
Because I guess I don't really necessarily understand like the difference between the two. Like say, I think we bought the beat from you.
So the one I did for you was that's an exclusive sale. Like I'm not going to turn around and be like, sell it to someone else. Like it's almost like it's still on my hard drive, but it almost essentially is like if it were to just get wiped off and it's you. Yeah. I send you the stems. You could change the beat if you want. That's an exclusive.
So say instead of us buying the beat from you, right? You leased us that beat. What could, and I couldn't do, like say like, you know, once I got the lease beat from you, right? Like we do whatever with it, it blows up. Like it's getting like 3 million streams a fucking week type of. Like, what does that mean to you, though?
So it depends on what the terms and agreements are for each producer. They're all different.
Okay.
On BeatStars in particular, but usually, like if I'm leasing a beat for $25, usually there's a cap on how many streams you can get before you need to buy the exclusive. You know what I'm saying? So like, if it's $25, depending on the producer, sometimes they'll allow up to like 3,000 streams before you gotta either buy another lease or buy it exclusive.
It's like another $25.
Yeah.
And that's 3,000 streams per per rapper, right? Or per
per beat.
Okay.
You know, not yeah.
Oh, per beat.
Yeah. So like if I sold you a beat, you made a song to it. Excuse me, and you made a song to it, and it got like 3,000 streams.
Yeah.
You know, ultimately that's gonna almost equate to that $25. So you either got to rebuy another lease or buy an exclusive.
Okay.
You know, so a lot of people don't do it though. A lot of people will buy the $25 lease. They'll get hundreds of thousands of streams, but how's the producer gonna know? It's not like the producer has a tracker on all these songs that are getting made. So I'm sure
I thought you guys were like you get like some type of like notification.
Nah, I mean there is a feature on BeatStars, but you got to pay more. So I'm not personally like paying for every single beat to be mine. Fuck that, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and if
so you could kind of lose out that way then, right?
You could, yeah. There's
producer.
Probably people losing out money, but I think once it gets to a point where it's like if it blows up, they're gonna hear it, you know. And it's
well, no.
I know that beat. Yeah, I know that melody. Yeah. I did that. But yeah, it's very tricky, man. That's why it's like me personally, like I have a BeatStars account and like I'll put beats up there for shits and giggles because sometimes people just like listening to my beats. Like I don't really make many sales off of BeatStars. Every now and then I'll get something, but like that's not my goal to like sell full-time beats on BeatStars. I'd personally rather like have an exclusive beat being used or bought or whatever. Because now it's like there's only one song being made to that. So it makes it more personal, you know, rather than like 10 dudes across the country making a song to my beat and they're all different. And it kind of devalues the beat,
you think
know, in a sense.
I think it could drive more people towards you as a beat maker.
It definitely, yeah. In that sense, yes, for sure. It'll probably drive more sales ultimately, whatever. But I think just the exclusivity of it is like,
because you could have like you have it exclusively with one person and that does garbage on it. Or not even garbage, just does mid with it, right?
It happens, yeah.
And you could have one person that has the same beat, you know, somewhere in some other, I don't know, part of America. And the beat does really well over there. And now like, okay, now you're getting some recognition from that. So
there's definitely pros and cons.
That just fucking happened too, bro. I forgot. We just talked about this. Like this song blew up.
It was with Mook and Fear.
Was it Mook and Fear?
Yeah, it was Mook and Fear, and they had bought a beat. They had remade a beat from like a old band or something like that.
Shit.
And then literally, I guess.
No, that they got. I think they couldn't pay for it. No, it was like somebody recent that like famous. Like
okay.
Like it was a female rapper. She like redid a song on somebody else's beat, but now it's like
like remade an older song. You're saying?
Nah, but it was like pretty much the same beat. I let it go, but like
DJ Khaled does that a lot. But what you got to do in that point, like even Wild Thoughts with Rihanna and that's Maria. That's that song basically. They just took it and flipped it. So it's you gotta clear the sample is what it's called, which means like you gotta basically give rights to the person who originally made the song. But it's hard to do as an independent artist.
So you got to contact the person that originally made it or owns it at that point.
Yeah, and you work out a negotiation. It could be different for everybody.
So how does like a Bryson Tiller, that song by Bryson Tiller and J. Cole that have the exact same beat, like how does that happen?
Yeah, I mean that's clearing the sample. And they're big enough artists to the point where they can get in contact with those people and work something out.
Was it a sample or was it? It seems like it's
the
exact same beat.
I mean, J. Cole used the same beat for what the hell is the name of the song? I forget which one. Where he's riding in a bus and rapping. That was the same beat that Joey Badass used. So it's like it's just about those artists are so top tier at this point that they could just get their peoples on the phone and be like, let's work something out.
That's an easy call. That's an easy call for them, right? But it's like I guess if you're a newer artist, it's like how do you?
It's hard, yeah.
And then like. When you're that big too, right? It's almost probably looked at as favors. Like, all right, bro, I got you with this beat type of situation.
They're ultimately gonna make that person money, so it's not even like the person.
If you're like a newer
like,
artist calling like, we need that bread.
Yeah, but that's essentially what I was talking about with like the Caribbean market, where like there's the exact same beat, two big songs that actually did their own thing,
which is wild. Yeah, I honestly never knew that. Like, really? I don't think I ever knew that. I'm curious to kind of tap into that more and really like
because I think even Vibes Cartel had tried to like remake that Neo song,
different song,
that ended up getting into like some legal issues. But you know, over there for him, like I said, it's just a really common thing. Like even I was just watching not too long ago, Vice did a episode on like Sean Paul's "Give Me the Light" and how did that come into play, and he brought it back to the guy who actually made the beat, and he was like, "Yo, this beat was like." for like 10 different people had done it.
That's
already.
wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then Sean Paul got on it, and then that became like the song that put him out there. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I mean, it's tough because I don't think there's a right or wrong. You know, I think it really just depends on the what the producer's goal is.
Okay.
You know, and that's why I say I really don't think it's wrong to sell beats on BeatStars or right to sell beats on BeatStars. I think it's just it really depends on what the producer's trying to accomplish in their career. You know, and it could definitely further you if multiple people are using your beat.
Right.
But it's you know, it just depends on the person. You know, it depends on because you're right. I could very well make a beat for somebody that puts the song out and it does nothing, and now it could be the most fire beat I ever made. But it's you know, that's just a shot that me personally I'm willing to take, you know.
So let's just say that you put a beat out and they buy the beat from you. It does amazing. Do you get royalties from that stuff, right? Or
it depends on the negotiation. Okay. Yeah. So most of the time, exclusive rights, I'm not really taking a percentage on that. So it's but that's why most of the time the exclusives I sell, they're higher ticket, you know, I've sold exclusives for $500-600, you know what I'm saying? Because the song could do really well and make way more than that. So at least I'm getting a piece. It just depends, you know. I always negotiate. It depends on who I'm working with, what I'm doing it for. You know, there's really no set price. You know, just something for the Cypher. I was oh, that's cool. That'll be cool promo. I'm not going to charge $500 for that. You know what I'm saying? So it really depends on, you know, where the artist is in their career, number one, what type of following that. Because if it's a high ticket artist, I'm not about to charge them $100. It's I know the song is going to do well at this point for you. I need to at least charge this much and get a percentage, or charge this much, get no percent. It's all a negotiation.
I mean, why not just charge, personally for me, why not charge a decent, I guess midway and always leave room for a percentage at the end of it.
Some people don't want to give you a percentage.
So that way, no matter what, you get something off.
No, you're right. Some people just don't. Some people don't want to do it. Some people don't want to give you the percentage. I've ran into people where they're nah, we'd rather, how much can we just pay you? We just want to own it outright.
And to do what?
To do their own thing. It's some people don't, you know, and I guess once you reach up to the higher tier of the industry, you're usually always getting a point as a producer, you know, because they know the song is going to do well.
Yeah.
It's when you're selling to an artist that, you know, is kind of on the come up, that doesn't want to give you their percentage. It's probably just because they feel that shit's going to blow and they don't want to really, they want it all for themselves, which is fine. I don't think it's wrong, you know, but I'm going to charge it more.
Nah, that would burn me up inside. I put a song out and that shit does crazy. Yeah. I'm not getting a piece off of the bar.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, $500 or even $1,000 off of the cut. It's just come on.
It's,
Nah, I mean, but I can understand their point of view because, yo, once you buy, I don't want to have any other issues.
I don't want to have any strings attached.
Yeah, it's mine. You know what I mean? Clean cut. Yo, you got your money, and I got this.
Let me make my money, because you know what? It's not guaranteed for them. Maybe it might not blow up.
It's a gamble, yo. I mean, every song you make is really a gamble because, you never know what's really gonna pop.
Yeah.
I mean, it may not pop, but
that's what I'm saying. But you don't know.
At least give me 3%, 5% out of it.
Give me 0.5% of every beat I've ever made.
Yeah, something, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's people that, you know, I record that don't pay for the beat at all. They just take it off YouTube, you know, and it's which is, in my opinion, it's oh, that's shitty. You shouldn't be stealing from the producer, but it's the way they look at it is almost, all right, I'm just gonna keep putting out music, and if it pops off, fuck it, I'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
I'll deal with the copyright claim later. I'm already popping. I could pay for it.
Right.
Which is not wrong, you know, because look at Juice WRLD, for example. He blew up off that Lucid Dream song.
Yeah.
That was a sample from an old Sting song. Yeah. And he got sued for $6 million.
Really?
But he's Juice WRLD. So
I think there's a band or somebody that's still, they said that to this day they're still making money off of one song that Diddy made.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I'm sure it's probably the what's
the
the
Biggie tribute?
Yeah, the Biggie, exactly. Yeah, that's the one I was gonna say because I forgot exactly what song that was. But yeah, man, I mean, it
was that one. I think he got sued for it.
Yeah, because Faith Evans was on that song too. Yeah.
But Diddy used to we talked about this before. But Diddy used to rip so many old songs.
Yeah,
almost all his songs are
that was kind of his signature. You know, he sampled it, flipped it, turned it into a more of a hip hop vibe.
Worked out.
Yeah. But that's the thing, you know, and I think if you were to do something like that, once you gain enough of that stature and you're this high up in industry, That's
It's
it.
easier to figure
It's
out.
easier to deal with.
Like, what are you gonna sue me for? Like $10? Like, I got nothing in my bank account.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
It's like
you're wasting your time,
Yeah,
man. Like,
exactly. Like I'm gonna pay you, but I'm still Diddy, for example. So I'm still
At
gonna
least
make.
I made a name for myself.
At that point,
Exactly.
it's like, yo, do you really want to fuck with like Diddy? You know what I mean? It's like,
That guy didn't give no fucks. He fucked with Diddy. He
Yeah,
said he's still getting
exactly.
paid from Diddy to this day.
I'm saying, but like
Exactly.
the average producer nowadays, right? Like, yo, like if like do I want to burn that bridge or is this something I want to build? Like, all right, like okay, you kind of fucked me a little bit, but it's like, yo, what can we work?
It's tough.
Out?
It's tough. I'm still owed money from some records, man. But it's like
really?
they're bridges that I don't want to necessarily burn, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Like I'm not about to go call my lawyer and be like, yo, let me get this $1,000 I'm owed. It's more or less just like, all right, like cool, like I'll still keep dishing you beats if you need it, but I'm not about to go chase around for money, I guess, unless it got to a point where it's like I'm owed 10 racks, then it's like it's different. But
what's the most expensive beat you ever sold?
The most expensive beat I've ever sold, I sold a beat for like $700. That's probably the most I ever sold a beat for. And that was like very intricate beat. It was like a beat that was kind of out of my realm. It was like
took a lot of time.
It was like a reggaeton beat. I don't really make reggaeton beats like that. So but yeah, they wanted like multiple versions of it. So it wasn't I wouldn't even consider it one beat if I think about it now. It's probably like 3 different beats into one.
Okay.
Is that like how many other producers like you are in Connecticut? I mean, like we're kind of relatively new to the music and podcast world. So like you're the first one that I heard of, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
when we're looking for like references, like you popped up. But is there a big market for producers in Connecticut?
I think there's a lot of producers in Connecticut.
Is anybody else like that? Like I guess also, where do you compare yourself? Like in Connecticut, is like, are you like in the top, mid tier? Like
I mean, I definitely consider myself in the top at this point, just because of how long I've been doing it, and whether I get the recognition or the respect from whatever CT's top artist list that randomly come out, whether I get on the list or not, it doesn't mean nothing to me because I know like the tenure that I put in and like how long I've been doing this. So I always like to consider myself, and it's not that I'm above anyone, but it's like I've put in my time, like I deserve to be sitting at certain tables with certain people. It's just because that's how I feel, but I don't personally think like I'm better than him or better than her. It's more or less just like I'm really just trying to be better than who I was 10 years ago, and if I can at least just say that, or even last year, if I can say I'm better than who I was last year, that's all that matters to me, bro. Yeah, I don't really like to compare like what I'm doing to what somebody else in Connecticut is doing or in general, I kind of just do my thing, bro, because
no, I get it. I'm just kind of wondering, like, is there like a competitive like spirit, amongst you and other producers? Like, yo, like we're like, all right, that was a fire beat. Like, I gotta like,
I gotta level
that
up.
Shit. Or, like, I gotta make a better song than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is there other producers that you kind of like network with yourself?
I have been recently, yeah, because most of the people I have in the studio are mostly artists. Every now and then I'll get like artists who also make their own beats and stuff.
Okay.
But that's probably something that I'd like to do a little bit more is network with other producers and like maybe, which I've only really been doing online, and a lot of them aren't really from Connecticut. They're from like different countries and like different states in the U.S. And they'll send me loops, and then I'll just make beats to those sometimes. But there's a couple in Connecticut that that I fuck with or make beats with, or sometimes we'll get in the studio and do stuff, but. I don't know if there's really a competitive nature though. I think that's more of a rap thing.
Yeah.
I think the producers are more kind of I'm gonna sit behind the scenes and make these fire records and like let everyone else kind of be in the spotlight. Although there are some producers that are the Khalids that like want to be at the forefront, so it's hard to say.
We the best.
Yeah, we the best. Yeah. It's hard to say, but I think just all the people that I've met or networked or even talked to over social media and never met yet in Connecticut, it's all love, man, from me, Like, yeah, it's a competitive spirit, like it's a sport, but it's like, I don't think I ever compete with anybody, I think I'm just competing, and I'm not to sound cliche, but I really feel like I just compete with myself, bro. Like, I'm just trying to, I made 3 beats yesterday, let me try to make 3 beats and a song today. And I think when I play that game with myself, I can't lose,
I like that a lot.
All right, bars.
Well, before we wrap it up, I have one last question for me at least. since you're doing this full time, is there anything you have your hands in outside of music as like a safety net, or are you going
right
pedal
now?
to the metal
Right now, I don't, man.
Really?
You know, and it's like, I know I should. Like, I've been thinking about like, you know, like real estate and like how to try to dabble in that. And, you know, I'm just so focused on the music right now. Even if like there are really like rough times where I really feel like, damn, I got to pay rent next month. Like, hopefully I get a couple, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not balling like that by any means. I was making more money knocking on doors than I am now, which is fine, because it's like, I really can wake up in the morning and do whatever the fuck I want. Like, I could wake up and not have to do shit, but it's like, obviously I'm going to work.
And you're pretty much, your work is going back into you. You know, you're not working for somebody else.
So I'm kind of filling my spirit ultimately, you know, and at least right now, I'm not really tapped into anything else other than just making beats, making songs, trying to feature with other artists. Like, I got another song coming out next week with another artist I networked with on TikTok who's pretty big, so that should help. Like, I'm just trying to get my hands in anything music right now, and I think I'm just praying for a miracle, bro. You know, and
that's cool, man.
Yeah, and you know and I guess that's really kind of not the best way to go about it, because it's like, what is the miracle? You know, like, I think you define what making it is. We define what making it is. Is it?
I mean, to me, bro, you made it. Like, right now, you are.
And that's how I try to look at it.
You are doing this full time, like you know what I'm saying. Like, you don't have a part-time job, like, you know, washing dishes or some shit. Like you are in the music industry. Like, you get paid by the music industry.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
You made it. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
You're living your dream, yo. Like,
I think you're creating funnels. So like, you know, like you say, you're about to get into like the or you think you're considering getting into music videos.
Yeah,
you
the
have
video
the
shit.
beats,
Yeah.
You do your own music. You know, so I think the more funnels that you can create for yourself is also like just safety nets, safety nets within themselves, just in case if one fails.
It's the different sources of income, you know, because what do they say? Like, in order to be a millionaire, you got to have multiple sources of income. So the way I look at it is like, okay, I get income from beats. I get income from the studio. I could get income from my music, even if it's small. If I could tackle the videos, that's a whole nother income. If I could, there's really so much, bro.
You should probably rent out your studio as like another means of income too.
Yeah, I've thought about that too. You know, like subleasing or getting another engineer to work under me, something like that.
I would say that's kind of risky with the equipment.
I mean, obviously, like you'll have like, you know, precautions.
No,
like, it wouldn't just be like Joe Schmo off the street.
All right, buddy.
That comes in there.
It's definitely been thought about. You know, I think just because of what I'm currently focused on, which, you know, I don't want to say I'm not focused on the studio, because ultimately that's kind of the you know, the catapult. That's really the money, the breadwinner, which is the studio. But I'm just so focused on like really like pushing my art, rather like, which is my beats and my music, and really trying to like really push that to the forefront, so I don't have to feel like I have to take every session that comes my way. Because, you know, I get into this point of where I have to take these sessions because I have to make money, you know.
How many sessions are you doing a week?
It really depends, man. Sometimes I've worked like 50, 60 hours in 1 week. Sometimes I get like one session in a week, you know. So it depends, man. You know, it just depends how the market is. You know, it depends on, you know, really like the inflation that we've been going through it over the past couple months. That kind of hurt, you know, because like I said, the studio is a luxury spend. Like, if people don't have the extra spare money, they're not about to go blow it on the studio, you know. So
you gotta eat, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's just innovation of trying to, you know, give a deal here and there, cut prices sometimes. Which I don't like to do too much, because it kind of waters down the product.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm just, like I said, I'm just so fully invested in really just creating music, and that's like what I want my focus to be, and it's gonna pay off. You know, that's just how I look at it. I don't care if it's another 10 years from now, I'm gonna still be fucking doing it. You know, and I just have to live with that mentality, because if I ever take my foot off the gas, I'm only hurting myself.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, you know, and
100%.
like, if you're not moving at all, even if you're taking slow and steady steps, it's still getting you somewhere rather than just not doing it at all, you know? And yeah, that's just kind of what I'm focused on, bro. Just the music, man. So to answer your question, I'm not, but I should be. Like,
He's all in, bro.
I gotta get into the stocks or the forex, whatever the, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, he's all, he walked into the casino and said, everything on black. Like,
that's it. And if the ball is still spinning at this point, you know, I'm still waiting for it to hit. So
I like that, man. Yo, you believe in yourself, yo.
10 toes down on it.
I guess, to me, you made it. Like, you know.
Yeah, man. And
I mean, obviously, there's much more that you want to achieve, and like
for sure. And I think as humans, we all do, you know, and that's what keeps us going, though. You know, that's the fun in it, because I'm not saying I'm not happy where I am. I definitely do look at it, and I say to people all the time, like when I was younger, I would always say, if I could just pay my bills and make music every day, I made it. You know, so
here you are.
You made it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I made it, whether I got the glitz or the glamour or the money or whatever people perceive success to be. That's not me, you know what I'm saying? And it could be and will be eventually, but it's like that's not the defining point for me as to what making it is. And I think that everyone defines what making it is. Sometimes making it for people is having that steady job with a family. That's making it to somebody, and that's okay, you know? I think when people, and I'm guilty of it too, sometimes I'll be caught on social media looking at somebody else famous that's driving their Bentley just for a piece of content. And I'm like, fuck, like I want that Bentley. What the fuck? Like I just, you know, it's hard not
fuck
to.
This Nissan.
Yeah, bro. Fuck this Kia that needs brakes. Like it's hard not to get into that comparison game, but that ultimately robs us of everything we already have, you know? And it's really hard, but that's why, like I said, I haven't been tuned in so much to the industry because I've realized by tuning into the industry, not that the music was better, but it's the perception of what those people have that ultimately was kind of clouding up what I have and making me feel less than. You know?
Yeah. That's major, bro. That's major.
Word, man. All right, yo, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, man. I feel like we could talk all night.
Yeah,
100%. Why don't you got a session coming up?
Yeah, you're definitely running late for that session.
Is it close to it?
Running late for that
wow. Oh, it's 10-12? All right, it's all good. I'll figure it out.
Where can they find you? Hit you up? No.
Yeah, so I'm row __ bless on all platforms, or just Google. You know, Google row space bless, and I should come up. You can find my music. I got, like I said, my beats. If you want to just go listen to my beats on BeatStars, I got music videos out. I'll be making the content with just funny skits in the studio and shit. So, you know, there's a lot to be entertained by, I guess. You know. But yeah, row bless on all platforms.
Y'all heard the man. Yo, tap in. Y'all need a beat, need a song. This is the guy to go to. We know firsthand, like y'all saw it.
Yes, sir.
Need a fire beat for us.
The cipher.
But as always, please like, subscribe, drop some comments, and we'll see you next episode.
Hit you with the stiff on, tell them get off me.